When people talk about the Byrds, they often mention jangling guitars, soaring harmonies, and the birth of folk rock. But at the center of that shimmering sound stood a man whose words and melodies gave the band its soul, Gene Clark. As the group's original chief songwriter, Clark penned some of the most beautiful and enduring songs of the 1960s. His music captured both the hope and the heartbreak of an era, and though his fame never matched his talent, his influence runs deep in the DNA of modern American music. Harold Eugene Clark was born on November 17, 1944, in Tipton, Missouri, the third of 13 children in a working-class family. His father played guitar and sang in a local country band, and by the time Gene was a child, music was already in his blood. He began writing songs as a teenager, influenced by Hank Williams, the Everly Brothers, and Elvis Presley. His voice, warm, plaintive, and soulful, carried an emotional honesty that would later define his career. By his late teens, Clark had joined the New Christy Minstrels, a popular folk group that toured nationally. While the gig provided valuable experience, it also stifled his creativity. Clark longed to write original songs and explore a more personal style. In 1964, after hearing the Beatles for the first time, he realized the future of folk music lay in rock, and he wanted to be part of it. That same year, in Los Angeles, Clark met Jim McGuinn, later Roger McGuinn, and David Crosby. The three began blending folk harmonies with electric guitars, creating a revolutionary new sound. Soon joined by Chris Hillman and Michael Clark, they became the Byrds. Their debut single, a jangly cover of Bob Dylan's Mr. Tambourine Man, shot to number 1 in 1965 and launched a movement that bridged folk and rock like never before. While the Byrds became famous for their shimmering harmonies and chiming Rickenbacker guitars, it was Gene Clark's songwriting that gave them depth. He wrote or co-wrote nearly half of the tracks on their first 2 albums, including I'll Feel a Whole Lot Better, Set You Free This Time, and Here Without You. His lyrics balanced youthful optimism with introspective melancholy, touching on love, longing, and spiritual searching. Clark's songs didn't just sound beautiful, they felt true. Yet as the Byrds' fame soared, Clark's insecurities grew. He struggled with stage fright and the pressures of success. The constant touring and infighting within the band only worsened his anxiety. By early 1966, after just 2 years at the height of fame, Gene Clark walked away from the Byrds, the group he had helped create. His fear of flying, ironically, made it impossible to continue with a band named for flight. After leaving the Byrds, Clark embarked on a solo career that, while inconsistent commercially, produced some of the most stunning music of the late 1960s and 1970s. His 1967 debut, Gene Clark with the Gosden Brothers, was a masterful blend of folk, rock, and country influences, years ahead of its time. Critics praised its vision, but it failed to sell, lost amid the psychedelic explosion of the era. Undeterred, Clark kept writing. In 1971, he released White Light, a hauntingly beautiful album filled with introspective songs that revealed his growth as both writer and man. Later came No Other, 1974, his most ambitious work, a lush, mystical masterpiece that mixed gospel, rock, and cosmic Americana. Though initially misunderstood, No Other is now considered one of the greatest albums of the 1970s, influencing generations of artists from REM to Fleet Foxes. Despite his brilliance, Clark battled personal demons. Struggles with depression, addiction, and self-doubt haunted him throughout his life. He reunited with the Byrds for brief stints and collaborations, but never found lasting peace or mainstream recognition. Yet those who knew him, including fellow Byrds and countless musicians, always spoke of his genius and warmth. Gene Clark passed away on May 24, 1991, at just 46 years old. His death marked the end of a life filled with beauty, struggle, and an unrelenting devotion to music. Today, his songs live on, in the hearts of fans, in the voices of artists who cover his work, and in the spirit of every songwriter who dares to be vulnerable. Gene Clark wasn't a rock star in the conventional sense. He was a poet with a guitar, a dreamer with wings too fragile for fame. His melodies continue to soar long after he's gone, proof that true art never fades.